Let me tell you something wild. Nicolandria from Love Island USA Season 7 might be the most divisive couple in dating show history. We're talking about Nic and Olandria, the pair that split the entire fan base straight down the middle. Ace from the Villa is out here dropping allegations that their whole thing is manufactured. Lil Yachty literally stopped the concert to call him out. Taylor and Cierra from Love Island can't escape the drama. Even Love Island Huda got pulled into this chaos. The evidence pointing both ways is absolutely unhinged, and somehow nobody can figure out what's actually real. This isn't just Love Island gossip anymore. This is a full investigation with receipts, theories, and more plot twists in the actual show. Quick thing though, hit that subscribe button real quick because unlike this relationship status, ours is crystal clear. No cap, no fake love, just pure reality TV chaos delivered straight to your feed.
The Nicolandria saga didn't kick off with hard eyes and sunset kisses. It started with one of the most chaotic Casa Amors in Love Island history, and trust me, that's saying something. When Nic Vansteenbergh entered the Love Island USA villa for Season 7, he wasn't checking for Olandria Carthen at all. He was completely wrapped up with Cierra Ortega, and from what viewers saw, they actually looked pretty solid together. Meanwhile, Olandria was building something with Taylor Williams, and that connection had real potential. Everyone thought these couples would make it through whatever challenges came their way. Then Casa Amor showed up like a tornado, and everything got flipped upside down. For anyone who doesn't know, Casa Amor is basically the ultimate relationship test. The girls and guys get separated, bombshells come in, and suddenly everyone's loyalty gets questioned. It's designed to expose weak couples and create maximum drama, and Season 7's Casa Amor did exactly that with brutal efficiency.
Nic and Cierra's connection completely fell apart under that pressure. Whatever they had couldn't survive the separation and temptation. On the other side, Olandria and Taylor's vibe just evaporated. Both relationships crumbled at almost the exact same time, leaving two attractive, suddenly single people in a villa where coupling up wasn't just about romance, it was about survival. You needed a strong partner to avoid elimination, and you needed someone who could help you win that $50,000 prize and secure those post-show brand deals everyone's really there for. That's the context nobody talks about enough. When Nic and Olandria found each other after Casa Amor, they weren't just two people catching feelings. They were two strategically vulnerable islanders who suddenly needed each other. The timing was so convenient, it felt scripted, and that's where all the suspicion started brewing.
When they finally coupled up, the chemistry between them was instant and honestly pretty undeniable. You could see it in every interaction. Fans picked up on it immediately, and within hours, social media absolutely exploded. TikTok got flooded with fan edits set to trending songs. The ship name Nicolandria was born and started trending worldwide. People were making compilation videos of their glances, their touches, every single smile they exchanged. It was the kind of instant obsession that reality TV producers literally dream about at night. But here's where it gets interesting. While half the fan base was falling in love with them, the other half was side-eyeing everything. The timing felt way too perfect. The chemistry looked almost too polished, like they'd rehearsed it. And the fact that both of them became available at the exact same moment in the game raised some serious questions. Was this genuine attraction sparking between two people, or was this strategic gameplay from two smart contestants who knew exactly how Love Island works?
Because let's be real about what Love Island actually is. It's not just about finding your soulmate under the Spanish sun. It's about positioning yourself to win money and launch a career. The couples who become fan favorites get the votes to stay safe, they win the show, they get the brand deals after, they become influencers with millions of followers. Nicolandria was positioning themselves as exactly that kind of power couple from day one, and skeptics noticed. Right after they coupled up, Nic and Olandria shared this incredibly steamy kiss that literally looked like something out of a romance movie. The camera angles, the lighting, the passion, everything was perfect. Fans went absolutely feral over it. Then they hit everyone with a curveball and declared they were just friends.
Just friends, after that kiss. They said they wanted to take things slow and actually pursue their original connections instead of rushing into something new. So Nic decided he wanted another shot with Cierra. Olandria wanted to see if things with Taylor could somehow work out after all. And this is where critics really jumped on them as proof of strategy. They said this whole back and forth was calculated to make them appear more genuine, to show they weren't desperately jumping ship for game purposes. By attempting to go back to their original partners, they were making their eventual reunion look more authentic and fate-driven instead of convenient and tactical. The skeptics honestly had a solid point here. This kind of back and forth almost never happens on Love Island unless someone's really thinking about how things look to viewers at home. Most couples who have that level of chemistry just commit and ride it out. But Nic and Olandria took this weird detour that either showed impressive maturity or impressive game awareness, depending on your perspective.
But then, and this is important, those original connections genuinely didn't work out. Nic tried with Cierra again, and it became painfully obvious to everyone watching that they just weren't compatible. There was no spark, no chemistry, nothing. Olandria's second attempt with Taylor fell completely flat too. Neither relationship could be revived no matter how hard they tried. So when Nic and Olandria inevitably found their way back to each other, what was it really? Fate bringing two people together who are always meant to be? Or convenience bringing two game players together who recognized a mutually beneficial partnership? Believers said this whole journey proved they were taking things seriously and not just coupling up for strategy. Skeptics said it was textbook reality TV manipulation, the kind of storyline that gets edited into a perfect arc. Both interpretations made complete sense depending on what you already wanted to believe about them. Right when the speculation couldn't possibly get any wilder, someone with actual mainstream credibility decided to weigh in. Lil Yachty. Yes, the actual rapper. This wasn't some random influencer or bitter ex-contestant. This was a legitimate celebrity inserting himself into Love Island drama, and it was absolutely bonkers. In July 2025, Yachty was performing at Madison Square Garden. Middle of the show, crowd going crazy, everything's normal. Then suddenly he stops the music completely. The whole arena goes quiet, and he starts talking about Nicolandria. He called them fake. Not suggested it, not hinted at it. Straight up said their relationship was scripted and manufactured for cameras and clout. The crowd went absolutely wild. Phones came out instantly from every direction. Within literal minutes, the clip was everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, every platform was exploding with reactions. Fans who believed in Nicolandria felt completely betrayed. Skeptics felt totally vindicated, like they'd been right all along and finally had celebrity confirmation to ...
But what made this moment so much messier than just another call-out was how confident Yachty seemed. He wasn't speculating or throwing shade for fun. He talked like he genuinely knew something the public didn't, like he had actual inside information from mutual friends or industry connections. That confidence made everyone wonder what he'd heard behind the scenes that made him so certain. The response from fans was absolutely chaotic. Nicolandria's supporters immediately went on the defensive, demanding proof and calling Yachty out for inserting himself into drama that had nothing to do with him. They questioned his motives, asking why he even cared about a Love Island couple. Meanwhile, the doubters treated his statement like the smoking gun they'd been waiting for. They started resharing old Nicolandria clips with completely new context, pointing out moments that suddenly seemed staged under this new information.
Through all of this absolute chaos, Nic and Olandria stayed completely quiet. No emergency tweets, no Instagram statements, no responses whatsoever. Just total silence. Which either made them look guilty of everything Yachty said or made them look mature enough not to engage with baseless drama from someone who wasn't even involved. But that silence definitely made things worse, because everyone just filled in the blanks with their own theories and assumptions. If Lil Yachty's concert call-out felt explosive,
What came next was straight-up nuclear. Ace Greene, a fellow contestant from Season 7 who actually lived in the villa with Nic and Olandria, decided it was time to speak up. During an interview on the Speedy Mormon podcast in August 2025, Ace made claims that absolutely shook the entire fan base to its core. According to Ace, Nic had privately told him there was no real romantic spark happening with Olandria. He claimed they were physically attracted to each other, sure, but not actually in love. Just two smart people playing the game perfectly and cashing in on all the hype and attention. This wasn't speculation from the outside. This was allegedly a direct confession from Nic himself.
This hit completely different than Yachty's comments, and here's why. Ace was actually there. He lived with them in that villa for weeks. He watched their relationship develop behind the scenes, away from the cameras and edited episodes viewers saw. He knew what conversations happened at 3 in the morning when everyone else was asleep. If anyone had legitimate insider knowledge about what was really going on, it was someone like Ace. And he was saying point blank, with his whole chest, that Nicolandria wasn't real. The internet absolutely lost its mind. Fans who'd been defending the couple through everything suddenly didn't know what to believe anymore. This wasn't some outsider speculating. This was testimony from someone who'd witnessed their relationship up close and personal. TikTok exploded with reaction videos, with people analyzing every single word Ace said, looking for hidden meanings and additional clues. But the hardcore supporters weren't going down without a serious fight. They immediately started dissecting Ace's possible motives. Why was he speaking up now, months after the show ended and everyone had moved on? Was he bitter about something? Did he have his own personal reasons for wanting to take down the season's most popular and successful couple? Some fans pointed out that Ace had been relatively quiet and irrelevant since leaving the show, and this interview was genuinely his biggest moment in the spotlight since the season ended. The timing seemed convenient for someone trying to stay relevant. Then came the subtle but pointed responses from Nicolandria themselves. Olandria posted a cryptic Instagram story about loyalty and fake friends who'll say anything for attention. Nic liked a tweet about people saying absolutely anything for their 15 minutes of fame. Neither of them addressed the accusations directly or head-on, but the subtweets were definitely loud enough for anyone paying attention. Their supporters immediately saw these posts as confirmation that Ace was lying for clout. Critics saw it as deflection and an inability to actually deny what he'd said. The divide got even deeper, and everyone was more convinced than ever that their interpretation was the correct one. All right, real quick, smash that subscribe button before we get into even more insane tea. Because at least our relationship is straightforward. No villain required, no podcasts exposing us, just good vibes and reality TV deep dives. Before you completely write off Nicolandria as definitely fake, let's examine the evidence that points toward this being a PR relationship, because it's honestly pretty compelling. The timing of their brand deals was suspiciously perfect from the jump. Almost immediately after Season 7 ended, both of them started landing major partnerships with fashion brands, lifestyle products, and wellness companies. Their sponsored posts featuring both of them looking like the absolute perfect couple started flooding Instagram feeds everywhere.
This fits the classic pattern of how PR relationships actually operate in the influencer world. Two people with something to gain, whether it's followers, money, or relevance, agree to present themselves as a couple publicly. They show up to events together with coordinated outfits. They post content that looks candid but is actually carefully planned. They milk the public's fascination for everything it's worth. Then when the benefits dry up and the contracts end, the relationship conveniently ends too, with some vague statement about growing apart or wanting different things. We've seen this exact playbook countless times in entertainment, and reality TV is absolutely notorious for it. Love Island UK has had multiple couples exposed for exactly this kind of arrangement. Other dating shows have too. It's almost expected at this point that some couples are staying together purely for the business opportunities. Nic and Olandria checks a lot of those boxes when you really look at it. Their public appearances seem strategic, perfectly timed to keep them relevant right when interest might be fading. Whenever breakup rumors start swirling online, they suddenly get spotted together looking happier than ever. It's almost too convenient, like someone's managing their entire relationship with a literal PR calendar and engagement metrics spreadsheet.
Every photo they post looks professionally shot. Every video seems edited for maximum impact. Not naturally photogenic in a casual way, but planned by someone who really understands Instagram algorithms and what makes people engage. Critics argue that real couples simply don't operate like that. Real couples have bad hair days, unflattering candid photos, moments where they're clearly not performing for anyone. But Nic and Olandria rarely gives us that raw, unfiltered authenticity. Everything looks like it belongs in a magazine spread or a brand campaign. For skeptics, that's all the proof they need to confirm it's fake. But here's where the PR relationship theory actually starts falling apart when you dig deeper. If Nic and Olandria is really fake and just doing this for money and fame, they're honestly doing a terrible job of capitalizing on it. Think about every successful PR relationship you've ever seen. They're everywhere, constantly. Joint magazine covers, coordinated interviews on every podcast, reality show spinoffs, YouTube channels documenting their lives, constant paparazzi shots in different cities. The whole point of a PR relationship is to maximize exposure and milk every possible dollar out of the public's interest while it lasts. But Nic and Olandria has been surprisingly low-key compared to other Love Island couples who had way less popularity. Sure, they do brand deals occasionally, but compared to other couples from the franchise, they're almost private. No YouTube channel, no podcast where they discuss their relationship, no constant paparazzi shots every weekend in different locations. Fans have actually complained repeatedly about how little content they get from Nic and Olandria. People are literally recycling old Villa clips because the couple isn't feeding the frenzy or giving them new material. And here's what genuinely doesn't make sense if this is all business. If this relationship was purely about money and fame, why aren't they doing more? Other reality TV couples have launched entire empires off way less popularity and smaller fan bases, but Nic and Olandria are weirdly selective about what they share, actively keeping significant parts of their relationship offline and away from public consumption.
Olandria has even said in multiple interviews that the constant scrutiny and pressure made them want to protect their privacy more. She's talked about how invasive the speculation feels and how they decided early on to keep certain things just for themselves. That's not the calculated move of a PR couple trying to milk every possible dollar. That's the move of people who might actually value their real relationship more than maximum exposure. Then there are specific moments that seem nearly impossible to fake if you really analyze them. During the reunion special, the way they looked at each other didn't scream performance or acting. It was comfortable and natural in a way that's hard to manufacture. Body language experts who analyzed their interactions pointed out micro-expressions that are legitimately nearly impossible to fake convincingly. The way Olandria's entire body relaxed when Nic touched her arm. The way Nic smiled at her during moments when cameras weren't even focused on him, when he had no reason to perform. Those tiny details don't typically show up in staged relationships because they're subconscious reactions. And here's the question that nobody on the fake side can actually answer satisfactorily. If this is completely fake and purely for business, why are they still together right now? The show's been over for months. The initial hype wave has definitely died down. They've already gotten their brand deals and follower boosts. If this was truly transactional and only about capitalizing on their Love Island fame, wouldn't they have broken up by now and moved on to their next opportunities? But they're still showing up together at events, still posting about each other occasionally, still acting like a couple, even when it's not financially necessary or particularly beneficial. That doesn't fit the typical PR relationship timeline at all. Most fake couples split within 6 months max once the money stops flowing. Nic and Olandria has exceeded that window while being less public than ever.
To understand the complete picture here, you really can't ignore what people who actually know them are saying, and their testimonies are all over the place.
She's hinted multiple times at things not being exactly what they seem, made vague references to villa dynamics that viewers never saw in the edited episodes. In one interview, she said something about people showing different faces depending on who's watching, which fans interpreted about 17 different ways. Other Islanders have chimed in too, and their takes are genuinely all over the place. Some have actively defended Nic and Olandria, saying what they witnessed in the villa felt completely genuine, and people are reading way too much into edited footage that tells whatever story producers want. They argue that living in that pressurized environment is incredibly intense. Real connections form faster than normal life, and judging from the outside looking in is basically impossible. But then there are Islanders who've stayed conspicuously silent about the whole thing. Former contestants who could easily defend the couple and clear things up, but deliberately choose not to say anything. In reality TV world, that kind of silence speaks volumes. That calculated quiet has given skeptics even more ammunition for their theories.
The insider perspective matters so much because these people saw moments that never made it to air. They witnessed conversations that producers didn't include in episodes. They know the behind-the-scenes dynamics and politics. And the fact that cast members themselves genuinely can't agree on whether Nicolandria is real tells you everything about how complicated this entire situation actually is. Some Islanders hint that Nic and Olandria talked strategy constantly. Others swear they saw genuine vulnerability and real emotions. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle, but nobody can pin it down definitively. Regardless of whether Nicolandria is completely real, completely fake, or somewhere complicated in between, they've definitely become a legit cultural phenomenon. The couple name trends on Twitter almost weekly. Fan edits have accumulated tens of millions of views across platforms. People who've never even watched Love Island USA Season 7 somehow know exactly who Nicolandria is because the discourse has spread so far beyond the show itself.
They're not just a Love Island couple at this point. They're a genuine case study in modern celebrity, parasocial relationships, and how we consume content in the social media age. They represent something bigger than just two people who met on a dating show. Fan edits have played an absolutely massive role in building what the Nicolandria brand has become. Talented editors on TikTok and Instagram have created literal mini-movies out of villa footage, setting their most romantic moments to perfectly chosen trending songs. These edits get shared and viewed millions of times each. They've turned casual viewers into deeply invested stans and created a romantic narrative that's honestly bigger and more compelling than what the actual show provided. At a certain point, the actual truth almost doesn't even matter anymore. Nicolandria has completely transcended reality TV. They've become a symbol of something larger. To believers, they represent that real, genuine love can actually survive and thrive in the absolute chaos of a dating show environment. To skeptics, they represent everything wrong with reality TV and influencer culture. Both sides are so emotionally invested that every single new piece of information just gets filtered through whatever they already believe.
In an age where literally everything feels curated and calculated, Nicolandria exists in this weird space where both possibilities seem equally plausible. They could be genuinely in love, just trying their best to protect something real from an incredibly toxic online environment. Or they could be two smart, strategic individuals who recognized a golden opportunity and executed it absolutely flawlessly. We desperately want clear answers, but the mystery itself has genuinely become the entertainment. So are Nicolandria actually real? The evidence pointing both ways is honestly pretty compelling when you lay it all out.
You've got Lil Yachty's concert call-out, Ace Greene's detailed podcast interview, and the suspiciously perfect timing of all their brand deals pointing toward this being a PR stunt. But then you've also got genuine moments that seem legitimately impossible to fake, their surprising privacy compared to typical reality TV couples, and the fact they're still together now when the financial incentive has mostly disappeared.
What's genuinely fascinating is how this whole situation reflects our weird relationship with celebrity culture. We're absolutely obsessed with authenticity, constantly trying to determine what's real and what's performance. Nicolandria has become the ultimate test case for that obsession. A relationship existing at the exact intersection of genuine emotion and strategic branding, where both things could somehow be simultaneously true. The reality is, only two people actually know what's happening between them. Everyone else, including Ace, including Yachty, including every fan and critic, is just guessing based on incomplete information and their own biases. But here's what we know for absolute certain. Nicolandria has accomplished something genuinely remarkable regardless of what the truth is. They've stayed relevant and talked about long after most Love Island couples completely fade into obscurity. They've sparked ongoing conversations about authenticity and what we should actually expect from reality TV stars. They've turned their names into a recognizable brand that transcends the show that created them. Whether that's built on genuine love or calculated strategy, it's undeniably impressive from a pure results perspective.
The debates will definitely continue. New evidence will inevitably emerge. Someone else will probably speak up eventually with another revelation or accusation. And through all of it, Nicolandria will likely keep doing exactly what they've been doing, showing up when they want to, staying silent when it suits them, and keeping absolutely everyone guessing about what's real. Maybe that's actually the genius of it all. In a world where everyone constantly overshares every detail of their lives, they've somehow found real power in ambiguity and mystery. They've made the speculation itself a core part of their appeal. Whether you believe they're genuine soulmates or contract mates playing a role, you're still here, still talking about them, still invested in figuring it out. In that sense, Nicolandria has already won the game completely. Before you go, hit that subscribe button one more time. Because unlike the truth about Nicolandria, our commitment to bringing you reality TV chaos is absolutely guaranteed real. No accusations, no podcast exposing us, just pure, unfiltered tea.
At the end of the day, Nicolandria isn't really just about Nic and Olandria anymore. It's about all of us. The fans who obsessively dissect every Instagram story looking for hidden meanings, the critics who compile evidence like they're building a legal case, the casual observers who can't look away from the drama. We've collectively turned their relationship into a phenomenon that's way bigger than either of them individually. They've become more than just a couple from a dating show. They're a mirror reflecting exactly how we consume and interact with celebrity relationships in this era. We claim we want authenticity above everything, but we also want entertainment and drama. We crave genuine connection, but we're immediately suspicious of anything that looks too perfect. Nicolandria exists in that contradictory space, and that's exactly why we genuinely can't stop talking about them. Maybe Nicolandria is completely real, and we're all cynical for questioning it. Maybe it's entirely fake, and we're naive for believing any of it. Maybe it's something complicated in between that doesn't fit into neat categories. But the mystery and uncertainty is what keeps them powerful and relevant. In a world where every dating show couple burns out fast and gets forgotten, they've somehow managed to stay at the absolute center of attention without ever giving us the complete picture.
And that's ultimately why we can't look away, because we're not just passively watching a couple anymore. We're watching a phenomenon that says just as much about us and how we consume content as it does about them and their relationship. Nicolandria has become the reality TV relationship that perfectly captures this moment in culture, where nothing is simple and everything is up for interpretation. The truth will probably come out eventually, or maybe it won't.
Maybe they'll stay together forever and we'll never know if it started real or fake. Maybe they'll break up tomorrow and confirm everyone's theories. But until then, the conversation continues, the edits keep coming, and Nicolandria remains the most talked about couple from a show that ended months ago. That's either the greatest love story or the greatest con in Love Island history. Your choice, which one you believe.